As the threat of the cost of living crisis and high food inflation still looms over the UK, the state-run health service, the NHS, has come up with some stark numbers reflecting the state of the National Health Service. Latest figures say hospitals in England cancelled 88,000 appointments over the last year.
Very well, thank you.
Can I have your recap?
Yes.
Appointments for more than 10,000 people who booked a meeting for an operation were also postponed. 56,000 outpatient appointments to see a consultant were also rearranged. According to NHS providers, the number of postponed appointments will soon soar. Meanwhile, the UK is also set to witness the biggest teacher strike in recent times. The action is going to affect 23,000 schools in England and Wales. This comes after the talks between the union and the government failed. According to the union chief, the UK government had been unwilling to seriously engage with the causes of strike action. The strike is going to have a significant impact on more than 4 million students in England and Wales. Firefighters across the UK have also voted for strike action in a dispute over pay. According to the Fire Brigades Union, while it has a mandate to take its members out on strike, it's not looking forward to announcing any dates until it meets the employers. Last month, more than 80% of members who voted backed strike action across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. There's also another dimension, with public sympathy stepping in. As the UK endures a cost of living crisis, public libraries and other community hubs are providing warm spaces for vulnerable members of society in order to stay safe and access free food this winter.
It's a great warm space to come to because obviously cost of heating these days, my house has been cold and this is always open 7 days a week, and we always offer you time and experience. I found that it offers lots and lots of other services as well. I go to a men's group on a Monday, which is great, and there's lots of different things that come into the library. We have a food bank, which I use quite a lot. I went through an experience of cost of living crisis, of not being able to afford food, and.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by our correspondent Alex Isat in London. Alex, the news of firefighters adding to the list of striking people is obviously a big sign that this is escalating in an even worse direction now.
Well, sadly, there seems to be a lot more joining the strike action because it's all about pay, and as the government has been a stalwart on that fact, we're going to see more joining. BMA members of junior doctors and senior doctors will have the results of their ballots by the end of February, and it's likely that they will also strike. Obviously, we have this big strike coming tomorrow where we'll see teachers, university lecturers, train drivers, civil servants, bus drivers, all on strike tomorrow. So it is going to be a real pressure on the rest of the UK trying to get around, get to work, get to those who need care. And then we're looking ahead to next week. We're also going to see the NHS workers, ambulance workers on strikes. this does seem to be quite never-ending, and it is because the government has said over and over again that there is no money to be paying out for all of this costs until inflation comes down. And of course, when that's going to happen, we're not quite sure yet, and we have quite a bleak look ahead on the horizon. There doesn't seem to be any change to our economic status anytime soon. So more and more public service sectors will go on strike. Of course, we did hear about the anti-strike bill yesterday. It has now gone through the House of Commons, despite having many complaints from the opposition party, as well as from some of the Conservative members who say that it shouldn't be allowed to go ahead in the state that it is. So now it is going through the House of Lords. It still needs to go through a number of sections there before it becomes a bill. So that looks like it is actually getting fast-tracked. That means that if this goes through, that all of these public sectors will have to put a minimum level of service so that people are still getting the service they need. But as we've heard today, there are already surgeries at the NHS that has been cancelled, elective surgeries as well, and that still is a huge backlash from what we saw in COVID. And Rishi Sunak said in his New Year's speech that this is one of the 5 priorities that he wanted to change. He wanted to cut out the waiting list for the NHS, and it looks like it's getting worse from COVID during the strikes and going forward as well. And whether or not people are coming to libraries to get the warmth is not quite as good look as it does seem. Some libraries are having to shut. I'm here in South East London. A number of libraries are shutting in the morning and are looking to sell their buildings as well because they just can't afford the upkeep. The council has to put the money into other areas, and care and mental health isn't their top priority, and it's not about keeping people warm in the libraries. It's a bit of a sad state of affairs for the general public, really, as they're seeing strikes, they're seeing their bills going up, and they're not seeing much support from the government.
Alex Isaac joining us live from London there. Many thanks.